Most people will look back on their teenage years with regret, not because they were failures, not because they lacked potential, but because they never truly understood what those years were worth. Right now, you probably feel like you're just getting started. You feel like the important stuff happens later. You feel like you've got plenty of runway ahead. But here's what nobody says out loud. This runway is already shrinking every single day. And the people who understand that early are the ones who end up living very differently from everyone else. Let me be clear about something. When I talk about using your teenage years well, I don't mean grinding yourself into the ground. No cold showers at 4 a.m., no obsessing over your GPA every waking hour, no sacrificing every ounce of joy for some imaginary future payoff. That misses the point entirely. What I'm talking about is awareness, because the majority of teenagers move through these years completely on autopilot. Phone out, brain off, repeat. No intention, no curiosity, just stimulus and response, day after day, until the years blur together and suddenly you're in your mid-20s wondering why nothing feels built yet. Here's what most adults wish someone had told them. You are living through the leverage most people never use. The highest leverage period of your entire life right now. Think about your actual situation for a second. No mortgage, no dependents, no career you feel trapped in, no decade of habits so calcified they're nearly impossible to break. You are, right now, the most free and the most moldable you will ever be. That is an extraordinary advantage, and most people throw it away. Not dramatically, not all at once, but quietly. Hour by hour, scroll by scroll, in ways that feel harmless in the moment and only show their real cost years later. Because lost time doesn't announce itself, it just accumulates. And I'm not telling you to eliminate fun. Rest matters, enjoyment matters, the memories you make with friends in these years matter more than any productivity framework. The issue is when passive consumption fills every gap, when there's no space left for anything that actually builds you. Here's a number worth sitting with. 1 focused hour per day on something that stretches you, a craft, a language, a physical discipline, a technical skill, adds up to over 350 hours in a single year. Across 4 years, that's close to 1,500 hours. Research suggests that kind of deliberate practice is enough to reach a genuinely high level in most fields, not because you're special, not because of some natural gift, but because you showed up when others didn't. The hard part isn't the work, the hard part is starting, because the voice that says, "I'll take this seriously when I'm older," is the same voice that's still talking at 30. The habits you're building right now aren't just habits, they are the architecture of the person you're becoming. Every choice you make in private, the book you open instead of the feed, the practice session when you're not feeling it, the moment you try again after getting it wrong, those are the real building blocks. Nobody sees them, nobody applauds them, but they compound. And your teenage years aren't meant to be flawless. You're supposed to stumble. You're supposed to figure things out the hard way. You're supposed to try things that don't work. That's how the foundation gets built. The difference between people who feel capable in their adult lives and people who feel permanently behind usually traces back to these exact years, not to one big decision, but to the pattern of small ones, the extra rep, the extra attempt, the moment you chose to stay in it when quitting would have been easier. And the honest truth is most people watching this will nod along and change nothing. They'll feel the weight of it for a moment, and then life will move on and the same patterns will continue. That's just how it goes. But a few people will take something from this, something small, one shift in how they spend 1 hour, and for those people, this was worth saying. Because your teenage years don't replay. There is no later version where you come back and do this part again. One day the question will land, not from anyone else, but from yourself. Did you use this time, or did you let it pass? And the answer is being written right now in the choices that nobody is watching.